Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel. So, today in this episode of Scholar Spotlight series, we are hosting a scholar from JNCSR Bangalore. She is doing her integrated PhD in biological sciences from JNCSR. So, welcome Kanishka to this episode of Scholar Spotlight series. We are lucky to host you in this episode. So, can you please introduce yourself, mentioning your institute's name, your lab, a little bit about your department and your research area?
First of all, thank you so much, Payal, for this opportunity. Hi, everybody. Myself, Kanishka. I am currently pursuing my integrated PhD in JNCASR, that is Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research. Currently, I am a rotation student in transcription and disease laboratory. And this degree is jointly offered by molecular biology and neuroscience unit. So yes,
Okay, thanks,
yes,
Kanishka. So,
yes.
what motivated you to pursue in biosciences? Was your
Uh,
background in biosciences?
yes. So actually, my bachelor's is in biochemistry.
Okay.
Uh, I love the independence one gets to answer a question in basic life sciences. I mean, I'll be very frank, I was very sure of not pursuing medicine as a career, which I was being questioned time and again. Okay, upon choosing biology as a subject post in my 10 plus 2 grade,
Yeah.
uh, like what made you not take medicine as a career? I was very sure on that, and yeah, I was very keen on pursuing life sciences, basic sciences as my career research. Yes.
Yeah, that's great, Kanishka. You are truly an inspiration for many students who really don't want to pursue their career in medicine, not because they are not getting something good, but because they are keenly interested towards basic sciences. So you stand up, and because you are here and you are doing very good in your career, so you are a keen inspiration for those people. So
So are you, Payal? Same.
yeah, thanks, Kanishka. So I would like to move towards the next question that maximum people would have this question in their mind that about the selection process for this course, about the exam, about the cutoffs, mandatory eligibility criteria, some competitive exam, whatever. Can you please brief about these things? Because I used to get a lot of questions, and today is the best opportunity, and you are the best person to like answer these questions. Yeah.
I completely understand. I too was at some time at this stage. Yeah. So basically, during the last year of my graduation, like I sat for exams like JAM, Joint Admission Test for Masters.
Yeah.
I appeared for GATE. I appeared for JG Bills conducted by TIFR, the JG Bills, better known as TIFR exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, JAM, GATE. There was a entrance exam for CHG, Center for Human Genetics. That is, I appeared for that, and I appeared for GAT B also. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes.
truly inspiring, Kanishka. So,
Yes.
how did you apply for this integrated PhD program at JNCSR? I mean, you have cleared so many exams. So, via which exam JNCSR accept admissions for integrated PhD program specifically?
Sure. So this is basically is what is not revealed. There was a questionnaire. So there were two sets of maybe I'll say them SOP which we had to answer. Preliminary level, like there was a questionnaire on why do you wish to pursue basic life research sciences, what led you here. And we had to define two experiments and some exams which we had qualified till then. Maybe GATB, as you know, releases the results quite a bit late. So till then, GATE, JAM, and JG Bills, like, they gave their results. So, like, a brief mention of that, a brief mention of why do you wish to pursue research. So this leads you to the interview stage. Post this, once you appear for uh, yes, this questionnaire and JNCSR also holds a personal entrance test by their own. The duration for this exam is 40 minutes, and 40 questions are asked in this exam. All are multiple choice based questions. So I clearly remember what my senior told me, Kanishka, you need to be quick as well as you need to be very precise on what you wish to answer. It's
Yeah,
not that uh, you wish to, like, you have to answer timely but also correctly. So this is what the trick behind this exam was, because it was like 1 minute per question. Maybe you can't devote more than one, according to me, per question. So yeah, this was it. And after that, interview sessions were held for us. And then yes, they just on their website they published the results, and this is
yeah.
what the procedure was.
Okay, thank you so much, Kanishka, for such a detailed explanation how things work. So, I have a quick question. Say, for example, some students can't clear IIT JAM, but they wish to join integrated PhD at JNCSR. So, are they eligible to fill the form of integrated PhD? Or because I too checked in at some points in the website, they have mentioned that encourage like JAM candidates are encouraged to apply, and at somewhere they are like mentioning that there is a separate test based on interview selection is there, so there is a quite like lot of confusion among students. So can you please clarify if a student has, is it mandatory to qualify JAM to get admission, or even without like appearing or qualifying for IIT JAM students can apply for a PhD?
Sure. Maybe I'll be very frank on this. I remember in the two of the questionnaires I described, one did clearly ask the JAM rank we had achieved.
Okay.
I maybe that's a mandatory, like, that's a mandate for getting through
Yeah,
this
this
procedure
problem.
of.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Thank you so
yes.
much, Kanishka, for clarifying this big doubt. So I would like to move towards the next part. So as you suggested that there are 40 questions in the GAG bills, sorry, JNCSR personal like separate exam for in PhD. So
Yes.
how did you prepare for that exam? And also what are the like what you feel was the important topics for to ace in that exam? Quickness is the one. And what are the topics in, I mean, what technical knowledge one should have to ace in that exam very well?
The thing which is set for the JG Bill Stiffer exam is you can't really prepare for it. This, like, the questions are so basic. Maybe it's like no book, especially, or no such thing can, there's no Bible maybe for it. You you just need to know your basics, and, like, really you would sail it through. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So,
Yes.
is only biology questions have been asked, or like physics, chemistry, maths is also there in the exam?
Uh, Basic chemistry is asked. Yes.
Okay. Chemistry and
Yes.
biology. Yeah. Okay.
Basic chemistry is asked. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Kanishka. I would like to ask the next question that is about your timeline for the preparation. As you have already said that you have appeared for many other exams like JJ Wills, I mean that IIT JAM, GATB, all those things. So maybe the like the preparation stuff, like that is the your notes, your resources would be common. It's highly likely. But what was your timeline for the preparation? Did you prepare for 6 months, 7 months, 10 months? How much longer have you prepared for these exams?
So actually, I was preparing. By the time I was 1.5 years into my bachelor's. So
Okay.
basically, my bachelor's, the institute where I pursued my bachelor's was quite far from my place, so I had to commute. So accordingly, I had devoted the time which I need to invest into preparing these exams. Yeah, so while I was, and I was like, we were also the COVID batch, so for some time we had that online classes and stuff. People say that that's not time taking, and you can prepare for competitive exams in that time, but I'll be very honest, we had to devote time, and etc things, and the college attendance and stuff was compulsory. So for the people who need to attend their college compulsorily, please do that, it really helps. And also, I, I know I am, I'm going a bit tangential, but sometimes I felt that while I was preparing for these competitive exams, the topics which were discussed in my college, the subjects I was taking there, did refresh my memory. Oh, okay, like this was what was heard in that lecture, and this really helps recalling certain stuff in entrance exams. Yes, so that's one point. And getting back to the question, yeah, I was 1.5 years into my bachelor's, and that was when I started preparing, because by the end of second year, I like yeah, and the beginning of third year, I had to appear for JG bills, because it's during the December, October, the like the portal opens, and so one needs to know prior hand on what exactly they are aiming. The competitive exams one need to appear for, it's not that okay, the form has been out, let's apply for this. You should be, I mean, you should have this beforehand, like, okay, I need to appear for this. This would be, this is how, uh, this is what the weightage a subject carries in that particular exams. And like, we have appeared for these exams, and a bit of it does vary in every exam. So, yeah, this should be very clear, I believe, prior hand in a person's head, and that really helps. Like, I mean, yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kanishka, for giving this tip that aspirant should plan his or her whole year, that what is the timeline of different exams that he has to appear for. So that really helps, as you already described it very well. I hope that aspirants will mark your words and they will work accordingly and they will also succeed, and I will also be interviewing them like in the next few years. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
So let's move towards the next question. Like many of the students have a very like big confusion regarding resources, which books to follow, which courses do we have to take coaching compulsory, uh, previous year questions, what is the importance, all these things. How you managed all these stuff? Which resources did you follow?
okay. So for the resource thing, this is a very well-known publication, Pathfinder, which I followed. Coming on to the second important thing is previous year questions. Like, according to me, for me, they worked very well. I mean, every book has on the front page the weightage, but I wish to understand that weightage. Like, okay, in this question paper, this portion carried a certain part, it's a certain percentage, but I wish to like experience it, go through it. I mean, what subtopics among that, how how that particular weightage was divided, maybe further. Yeah, previous year questions are a really big help. Like, it's not that just going through jam questions would actually help you prepare, like this like you have also appeared for these exams, you know that it starts from TIFR, and maybe if I'm not wrong, it ends with CUET,
Yeah.
right? The CUET postgraduate exams. It would lead you through, I mean, practicing these questions would start like from the TIFR exam and would help you till the like appearing for your CUET also. So yeah, I mean, and also uh, I had went through, yeah, the previous year questions, like beforehand. Per se, I have to appear for maybe GATB in like 1.5 months from now, so I'll start preparing with the previous year questions of GATB, and like refreshing for that particular exam, but starting with like any you can pick, like the basic research questions. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kanishka, again for such a good explanation of like clarifying the doubts and also explaining about which resources to follow, which you did and how you did. Thank you so much, Kanishka. I would like to move towards the next question. Say, for example, in the exam, there are many questions, and not all questions are familiar to an aspirant. So, how did you tackle the difficult or unexpected question in the exam? So, did you skip it, or did you tried making educated guess? What did you do?
Actually, Payal, here the marks which is devoted to the question. Firstly, just skim through like which section does the question lie in, and also like for the question paper, like strategy, not strategy, a suggestion would be answer all those questions which you are very sure with. Like, okay, I know the answer, I would be attempting for this question, maybe mark it like, okay, I'm done with this question, I'll proceed further. Keep these bunch of unexpected questions for the last, and just give it a read, understand it for like maybe take 15 to 25 seconds extra for these unexpected question. Read it, mark it, and keep it for the last moment.
Yeah,
Once you are done, like once you know that set of pressure is relieved, like, okay, I'm done with the part I know, take these questions post then, because you would be like the your mind would be in a state of relaxed state to understand these questions. And maybe if if this question is not dedicated for negative marking, I would suggest giving it a try, because nothing would be lost, taking and like answering the question. So yeah, firstly, keep it for the last, understand it. Maybe reading the question also helps. One time, if you expect that like in every go you would you know the short answer, no, give it a read like maybe once or twice. That would really help answer these questions. Yes.
yeah,
And the weightage, of course, they carry.
yeah. So thank you so much, Kanishka, for answering our questions. I would like to ask the most hot topic for this interview. That is, how does the interview at JNCSR happens? What are the how many rounds are there? First question, and second question, what is the format? And if it is possible, can you please share some actual interview question that were asked to you during your interview?
Sure, Payal. So, like, uh, when they have finalized the students they would call through for like on the day of interview, they have their transcripts. So, like, there are a panel of faculties which are available on that day, and it's like a maybe a round table conference. So, I'll share my experience. Firstly, it was single round of interview, right, and then like there was a panel of faculty sitting. So my bachelor's, as I mentioned, the majors was in biochemistry. So like they they asked me about it, like, in which subject do you have you graduate, like what's your uh, field of study for the graduate part. I answered like biochemistry. Post then I was asked about the subjects I would be comfortable answering the questions. So that was cell biology for me. So yeah, I was asked a bit of genetics, a bit of biochemistry, and a bit of cell biology also. And some part of the chemical biology, which I told was asked in the test also. The pH questions, the blood buffer questions, and stuff like that. That thing I was asked, like bit brief definitions about that. And I was asked about purine salvage pathway from the biochemistry part, which I had told, and I was asked about a pedigree question from the genetics part. The blood grouping question was another thing. This was what I can recall at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they do ask like what subjects would you be comfortable in answering, and after that, once they find that the student is comfortable and is confident in answering some of those questions, they do help. Like, we have a tendency of fumbling during that time. Oh no, if I make a mistake or what, they are truly very helpful. Just start, make a good start, make a thorough start, know what you are telling, and yeah, they do really help. Like, once they come to know that okay, the child is trying to answer, they would like definitely help you. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kanishka, again for sharing your personal experience of the interview and also telling our aspirants which topics have they should focus on. So essentially, as you mentioned, that they will ask which topics you are comfortable in. So it's good for the aspirants to at least prepare three topics of their interest, or at least one
Correct.
topic which should be thorough, so that they can answer any question from that particular topic. Yeah, so thank you so much, Kanishka. So, I would like to ask you about your campus life now. So, how rigorous is your coursework? As you mentioned that you are a rotation student, so how rotations begin? Like, what is the timeline? All those things. Can you please mention a little bit about the labs and research opportunities? Everything that like aspirant should know before joining JNCSR this in PhD program.
While for the first year for an integrated PhD is dedicated towards the coursework.
Okay.
uh, we do have lab sessions, so there's a common lab for all the students enrolled in this program, that lasts for 2 semesters. That is, one complete year goes into this, a part of lab work and courses. There are different courses, ranging from cell biology, we had virology, we had genetics, and we had, of course, the laboratory coursework, we had biostatistics, and these were the subjects for the first year. The second year onwards, you do have some electives and some compulsory courses to like make up the credits you need to acquire for the second year. Rest all is like some electives which a person might be interested in. And from the second year onwards, the whole year is divided into 4 parts. Each rotation, like we are uh, to rotate in four labs, and the duration for each rotation lasts for 3 months. So 3 months into 4 labs, which gives you a total of 12 months. And the third year is can be a gateway to your PhD. Means by the end of second year, we are to clear a comprehensive exam, an internal exam which is held inside our campus. Once a person is through with it, they can either choose to take a lab as their to pursue their master's thesis, or like, they if they wish to pursue their PhD there. So yeah, the third year is dedicated for a master's thesis, be it you are a PhD student or you wish to pursue your master's thesis there. It lasts for a year,
Okay.
the third year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much again, Kanishka, for answering all these questions and also clarifying the things about the timeline of rotations and the coursework, how tricky it is, all these things. Thank you so much, Kanishka. Now a quick question about the overall student life. Is it, I mean, how are the facilities? Is it a positive environment or you really feel a constant negative pressure for development or whatever it is? So please share your experience regarding the overall student life there.
Sure. So yeah, it's a completely positive environment. Um, so this is a place where one would enjoy research. One would enjoy the way they are given the freedom to answer their research, like their question, the question which picks them, and there is something within every person, within every student who takes life sciences or basic research as their career, to answer some question at that point of time. So yeah, this area completely gives you an independent approach to what you wish to pursue and in the manner you wish to answer the question. So yeah, it's completely uh, for the pressure part, I would say that yes, at sometimes you do feel competitive, because you have compatible colleagues and your seniors, and yeah, so it's completely, you wish to grow and you would love to grow and develop in such a positive environment. It's quite, yeah, peaceful, and harmony is along, like it goes with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks again, Kanishka, for sharing your experience at the institute. So last quick question. What common advice you would like to give to the future aspirants and what like mistakes they should avoid?
Sure, Payal. So, as I told, plan what you need to do in per se, even in your first year of bachelor's. Like, okay, we have just crossed 10+2 level, but have some idea of what you wish to pursue. Maybe read what are known as not research articles, maybe review articles on a topic you like. So there are these, maybe I don't know if if I should take the names. There are certain blogs to make research very interactive, with
Yeah.
beat and a person who has just entered the field or is pursuing PhD. There are very good interactive blogs, bit size biology, and
Yeah.
other very interactive blogs are there up at the internet. Maybe like you can go through them. That really helps a lot. Develop a habit of reading, because maybe this is a very philosophical advice, but yeah, this do would help you while you would you would be writing a research proposal, or even if your SOP, if you have to write that, and know the exams or other stuff you wish you aim for, because once you have a clear goal, things would fall in place for sure. And maybe research a bit before applying to any institute, like what openings do they have, what is the basic, like the broad area of research, because like very specific details can't be gathered through these websites. Have a basic idea of what they can ask, or maybe what you are interested in before joining an institute. That is a must, because the panel of people sitting over there would expect that something about the institute that would really be appreciated, and it would help you, like, while appearing for these institutions.
Yeah.
uh, Yes. So this was my piece of advice.
Okay, so thank you so much, Kanishka. If you had to summarize your journey in one line or maybe one word, what it would be?
Uh, like according to me, it's like a mixture of three: perseverance, luck, and destiny. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Kanishka, for joining and most importantly, giving your precious time to solve the queries of the future aspirants. And thank you so much for giving your precious moments to answer the questions as well as at this busy time of your rotation. And this is the peak time of semester. We all can like feel. So, thank you so much. Wishing you a very bright and great career ahead in basic research sciences. So, thank you so much, Kanishka.